Hey guys, many people think they're building agents. They're not. They're building workflows. So what's the difference between an agent and a workflow? A workflow, you need to trigger. An agent starts and ends on their own. They know when to start, they know what to start, they know when to end, when they are done. Now, there are agents and agents. On the sales show, we are only excited about agents that make us revenue and profits. So my guest today is somebody that has built sales agents. Now we're talking, right? So this is not creating dog pictures and funny stuff. This is building a revenue generating system. He has built one for himself. He is getting called by everybody right now because they want to have it too. And he has built inside of Notion with Cloud Code a system that gives him a setter, a closer, the whole thing. So I had to get him on the show. I'm glad he's here. Welcome, Team Cakir.
Simone, or Simon, as everybody says, thank you very much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Everybody wants a sales manager, a setter, a closer on their computer, 24/7 on, for $100 a month. I mean, this is Wonderland. This is sales Wonderland. So walk us through, how do we get started?
Yeah, of course. I think that, I want to talk, of course, very quickly about the tool set, right? Because, we could talk about Claude, we can talk about Claude Code, we could talk about Claude Cowork, we can talk about, Zapier, Make.com, NA10. There are so many of them, right? And most of them can kind of achieve the same things today. But I know that you have a bit of a community, and then I know you're supporting Notion as well, and you use Notion. So what I'm going to tell you is a little bit about my history of how I got to those agents, like in the past, few months actually, right? So how you can start is by making sure that you are first confident and comfortable with the tool that you have at hand. And yes, Claude and Claude Code and Claude Cowork right now, it's the craze, right? But that doesn't mean that must be the thing for you. If you're on Notion, or even if you have Zapier, you've been using Zapier for integrations, you're using Make.com or NA10, you can do what we're going to talk about today, right? So I started to build it with Claude Code, which is a bit scary for people, right? When they hear Claude Code, and not the Claude Code that is on the desktop app, but the one on the terminal, right? And the terminal gets very scary. It's a black box with a bit of text, and it looks like Matrix, right? And like people look at it like, what are you doing, right? And it's actually very simple when you get into it because it's just text based, right? So you're actually conversing inside the terminal. I started with
cool
Cloud
thing
Code.
about the terminal is you can have 5 in parallel running.
Yes. I think after about 5, your brain starts melting. It's quite difficult. I can do on a great day, if I have my energy right up, I can do about 7. After that, it's really difficult, But usually per day, I'll have 3 to 5 tabs open, and I'll have 3 to 5 systems actually running at the same time, and I'm becoming the orchestrator. I am what This is why my company is called AI Operator. I am the operator of the AIs, right? And I get called in when it needs me and so on. But that said, don't be scared. I think that one of the always things that I always say, this concept of love, not fear. We're fearing AI because the news and the media is making us fear it. But let's say you have Notion. I hope you have Notion, because if you have a company of a certain size, you got to organize that company. And I love Google. I worked with Google, but Google Drive gets very messy, as we all know, right? But Notion Workspace can be it is a job itself. I know, you have to have the habit, you have to clean it up, you have to build it properly and so on. But having the context in one place is very important. So I have a client of 450 people.
We want to take away the fear from people. So guys, terminal is super technical, as Tim said, but this is how it looks like. On your computer, you open the terminal and you have in front of you this scary little box, and then you say Claude, and it activates Claude. And then there is this nice little...
It's so cute, isn't it? Yeah.
This cute little thing in here. And now, Tim, what is a command that we could give it?
Oh, I mean, if you want to start building from scratch, I think that one of the best things to say is just to be very natural and say, hey, I want to build a sales system, right? And I want you
Build
to
a
ask
sales
me,
system.
yeah, build a sales system. Ask me all the questions you need to be able to build a very detailed and thorough sales system, right? Something like that. I think
Ask
that
me all
we're
the
all,
questions you need to build a thorough sales system.
you're having some API errors because I think you're not logged in. You got to
Okay.
do / login.
Okay, we will not do this live, but guys, you saw it.
Okay.
It's in a nice little box. It's not that scary. You start talking
Yeah.
to it, it will talk
It's just
back.
text, yeah, and this is, I think, I'm glad that you started that, but you can log in if you want. And you said I can't share screen. If not, I would have been more than happy. But you can, if you follow me, you can find all these videos on my YouTube and my LinkedIn and so on. And it's not that scary. It starts somewhere, and people, prompt engineering is dead. It's all about context, and you can give that context with just natural language. And literally, I open these things. I don't even type anymore. I dictate, and how I built it on Cloud Code back a few months ago was, hey, hey Claude, I want to build a sales system because I'm a founder. I'm a small team, and these are our services. Actually, here are some documents about our services, and check out our website, right? And I use Notion as a CRM at the moment,
Me too.
but I want you to build a system that lives on my computer as markdown files. You got to learn a little bit if you want to go the Cloud Code kind of thing. Like everything's on markdown, which is just text based, but it's a nice formatting for AI to understand. And then you say, but I also want you to synchronize it to my Notion deal pipeline because I'm a small team, but I want my team to be able to see it, so it's not just on my computer; it's there as well. And always tell the AI to ask you the relevant questions. Never tell the AI to go do the job, right? And I think that's what's dumbing a lot of people down. It's like, oh, you go and ask it to do the job, it does the job, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna be jobless, right? Yeah. But
Hmm.
if you tell it and say, hey, ask me all the questions, and ask you some incredible questions, like these questions that you never thought of, and you're like, oh my God, like I spend hours building my sales system, and it's okay, guys. It's not. This is not this is what we need to understand is you can't get incredible systems from AI in 10 minutes, right? Let's be honest here. It's going to take you a couple of hours, and you're going to then test it 10 times. And then after that 10 times, it's going to start getting really good, right? And by the way, on fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, the run, you got to keep optimizing it.
That
So
was
if you
my
just,
first
yeah,
learning as a non technical person just 2 weeks ago, getting really deep into it. I don't tell it anymore what to do. I instead explain the purpose, explain the goal, and then say, go in plan mode, strategize with me. What am I missing? Find uh, different. Find a different angle than what I just described. Is there an even better way to do it? How would you do it?
yeah, I think you said it very nicely, and I think that this I want to underline what you said about the plan modes, right? And never, and this is why you tell it to ask the questions. Let's plan it together. Let's spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour if needed, and let me think as a human what exactly I need, and help me think about this. Have a clear plan, and it's going to be a big plan. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know what? I accept the plan. I accept the plan. I accept the plan. Don't just read the plan, because if you read the plan, you understand exactly what it's going to do, how it's going to do it, and so on. And you're going to have a lot of feedback. Imagine an intern, and the intern comes in, and you just say, build me a sales system. It's like, okay, well, it's gonna go very generic, right? It's gonna go online. It's gonna say, all right, well, this is a sales system. Here's a sales system. But if you get an intern, you train them. You show them your tools. You tell them your context. They know your company, right? They know a bunch of stuff. They have an onboarding, and then together you say, all right, let's build a sales system. Ask me those questions that you need to do your job really well, right? So if you start thinking about AI like this, and you plan really well, then it's almost the one shot, right? And like you answer these things and then you click enter after on the plan mode, and boom, it really builds you something incredible, right?
And so
So I did
how
that
so
with
that's
Cloud
how you
Code.
started. And let's go through. Okay,
Yeah.
CRM. You and Claude decided it will be Notion, and it was the right idea. Now, what about the setter, the closer, the sales
Yeah.
manager?
Yeah. So Cloud Code was, I mean, kind of automated, but it meant that I have to still open my terminal. I have to run Cloud Code. I have to say, hey, let's prepare for today's sales and let's do this or let's do that, right? And it was incredible. It saved me tens of hours a week already. But now what I've done in the past few weeks, and actually, yeah, a month or so, is double down on Notion AI and Notion agents, right? So Notion has agents. They're very powerful because the context is in Notion. The second you tell it something, is like it knows every meeting notes we have is on Notion with my team. It knows the goals, the deal pipeline is there, our products, our services, our
How do
processes, our
the
pricing,
meeting notes
everything's there.
get into Notion?
Notion has its own meeting notes feature, right?
Mm.
So I use Granola myself, like you
Mm.
do,
Hmm.
but I use both actually. So I'll have Notion AI taking notes, Notion meeting notes taking notes, and Granola taking notes. Granola is for my own kind of purpose to have it, right? And I do a lot of content and stuff from it, but Notion is really for the business context to build it in one place. We
Mm.
decided that Notion was our source of truth. We want to have everything inside Notion. Every LinkedIn post we do, every blog, everything we do has a copy of it in Notion.
We're going a similar route, and I had never expected that. I thought like Notion, we're going to discontinue it. We just use it for the SOPs because it is so clean, but never for actual work. But since Claude loves it so much, it's really his buddy, right? It can do so
Yeah.
much directly there. I think we'll move everything to Notion.
But also, I believe even having both is starting to be a little bit a distraction, if you ask me, right? We will see very soon Notion AI, Notion agents being so powerful. I think they're going to mess up with the pricing because they're coming with a pricing on the agents very soon in May. And I saw the early pricings. It's like $10 for 1,000 credits. And, we're spending apparently about 80, 90,000 credits a month at the moment while we're still testing things.
Hmm.
So it can rack up very quickly to a few $1,000s a month.
Hmm.
I mean, the return on investment, it's all about return on investment at the end of the day. But when you think about Claude and you're on a max plan, it's $200 a month, right?
Hmm.
And it's very hard to hit the limit of a $200 a month, right? I do it sometimes, but it's quite difficult. You'll get tired hitting that limit often, right? Your brain will be tired. So I am betting as a company, as a business, on Notion because the agents are already very powerful, but they are very singular at the moment, meaning that they don't talk to each other, right? You can hack them to talk to each other by working on the same document, right? So they can write down on a document what they're doing, and the next agent can pick up from that document. Or in my case, everything is about the deal pipeline in this example that we're talking about. So what I did is I was like, okay, I want to build and I had a deal pipeline monitor, and then I had a daily brief, and then I had I don't know what, and I was like, you know what, I'm not thinking this the right way, and I was like, okay, who do I need? Who do I need to hire? I was like, oh, it'd be great if I had an SDR, an account executive, and a CRO, right? And then what do I need from them? Well, the SDR I wanted the second a lead comes to the first stage, which is lead 0-1 lead, like I have them numbered, 0-1 lead. It takes it through the second call booked. So it helps even on the first call booked. It helps even after the first call completed. And then when a second call booked, the AE picks up, right? Because it's the closer, right? So it's like, okay, well, we've qualified from the first call and so on. And I do the human calls, right? I show up to the call. The SDR helps me prepare for those calls and so on. And then after the second call two completed, I call it, the AE picks up, right? The AE picks up everything until proposal sent and closed one, right? And then the CRO reviews everything, reviews the SDR work, reviews the AE work, reviews all the deals, and thinks so much more strategic and brings me insights, right? On how can we do that better? What was our sales cycle? Which ICP seems to be closing faster, and where can we add more value, and so on. So I separated the pipeline into three things, SDR for half of the pipeline, AE for the second half of the pipeline, and a CRO to oversee this whole thing, like you would hire real people, right? And the thing is that the SDR can work all the time, so it could be double SDR, triple SDR. I could scale that SDR to be, maybe 5, 10 SDRs, instead
Do
of
they
humans.
send cold emails, messages on social media, both?
Yeah, so I don't let them do these things yet, but they draft everything. Yes, they can draft everything, but they ping me. So I have it connected to Slack. So I connect most of the things to my Slack. The Slack. So we've decided Notion is the source of truth, and Slack is the communication. So in Slack now, maybe you've seen a LinkedIn post of mine. We have a bunch of agents in Slack, and it's like we're suddenly 15, 20 people team. Actually, three of them are humans. Four of them are human, and then the rest are AIs, right? And they're reading every conversation as well. And the second we want them to do something, I just tag the
That's the
SDR.
team of the future. If you're listening to
Yes,
this is your future.
this is your future, and I'd say get on it very quickly, because the ones that are gonna get it on it the fastest are gonna be the winners of tomorrow.
What's the biggest change in terms of lifestyle for you? For me, it's not that different to get a Slack message from a robot or from a colleague. It's very similar. I'm just talking to a collaborator. But
Yeah.
what's different is I have these collaborators working. So my screen is
Mhm.
constantly tick, 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 tick. There's people working. And I have 10 minutes time, 15 minutes time, 20 minutes time. I go make a coffee. I have 15 minutes workouts now with dumbbells where I work out and I watch them work
Yeah.
because I don't have to do anything. Sometimes I have to give permission, but that's it.
Yeah, I think the difference is, and my team will laugh at this, and they'll love this because in one of my posts it was that I said something, and the AIs were the first ones to respond, right? They were available right away. They were not in a meeting, they were not in the bathroom, they were not having food, or they were not gymming, they were not doing anything. They were just ready for me right away. And with my team, we laugh. We're like, oh my God, they're the fastest workers that we have. And my goal with my team as well is to make them orchestrators, and they're becoming all these operators and orchestrators that have their own agentic kind of buddies, if you want to call it. What I really love about this is that, as you said, is I can be on my phone and I could be at the gym. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, in an hour I have a call. I'm gonna have to go, but I didn't prepare for it. And I just go on Slack and I send even a voice note, right? I send a voice note to the SDR. I'm like, hey, that call, I didn't prepare. Can you research? Can you research quickly about this for about them? And
How
boom,
do
it
you
goes
call
and it
them?
does
Do you
that,
have a
right?
name for them?
Well, so I have a couple that has a name, but the SDR, AE, and CRO are just called those titles. But I
Okay.
have Victor. Victor is a new one that we're testing that I really love, and I think is very powerful. We have Mia, we have Claude, we have Claude itself. We have Codex itself, right? So I haven't named all of them yet. We have also who's the other one called? I just built this marketing manager, a Marvin,
Marvin.
from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I built Marvin, and Marvin is very interesting as well because Marvin does all the SEO stuff, and Marvin has access to Google Search Console, to Google Analytics, to data for SEO APIs, and a bunch of other stuff. So it is. You have to think a lot, yes, and I know that it can be a little bit daunting at the moment, but it's again, you can keep it very simple. Who do I need? I needed a marketing manager, and I was like, okay, well, should this marketing manager do right now? Which is very important for us is our SEO. So I built an SEO loop, right? So every week it kind of renovates the SEO. Every day it creates a piece so that our content writer can review and tweak it and post it. So I'm building SD sales teams, marketing teams at the moment. Um, and potentially very soon I'm going to build a bit more service delivery teams because I can do so much, right? And I'm starting to become the bottleneck because we have lots of great clients. I'm giving them my time, and then I don't want to do any admin around it, right? So I'm removing all the admin so that the clients can get the best of me, which
Mhm.
I'm fully focused. And I know that all the admin, post session trainings, everything is handled by AI, but you get Tim because you need Tim at this moment, right?
So let's take people really the fear. Let's go back to this terminal. This is a terminal. It's a nice guy. What is a terminal, Tim? What is it? What is this
It's just
language?
It's a CLI, it's a command line interface. It's actually a connection directly into your computer and to the code of your computer. I'm not technical whatsoever, by the way. It's Claude Code made me technical in the past 7, 8 months or something like that. Before that, I didn't have much technical skills. But now, yeah, I understand a lot from coding, model context protocol, MCPs,
Uh,
and all this kind of stuff. So,
Let's try it out. You are my sales manager today. Check my
yeah.
pipeline, but not just what's directly in the pipeline. What am I missing? What should I do today that I am not thinking about, but it's revenue generating? So we can
Love
talk
that
to
you
it.
dictated that. Yeah. You didn't open plan mode. You should have opened plan mode.
Correct. I should
Yeah.
have.
But that's fine.
It's starting to work. We can also command
You can make
and
that bigger
start
if
a
you want.
second one here.
I wouldn't do that by the way. I would do command T.
Oh, what's the difference?
Yeah, just to have them in different tabs because I think this starts becoming very chaotic when you have too many in the same visual, but everybody has their own
Mm.
thing. But what I do is tabs. So that I have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4, tab 5, and then I name my tabs, right? So I'll name it marketing, SEO, sales, client X, right? And then I'm doing all this work and on the tabs then I can do command 1, command 2, command 3, and I can keep switching between tabs very quickly.
Ah, and it's working. Running three Explore agents. One is loading the sales pipeline data. One is checking calendars and tasks. One is check business assets. I guess that's the Claude
Yeah.
MD and different slides and website.
Well, whatever you have in your, I don't know where you started this, by the way. So one thing to be very careful is where do you start? If you're going to use Cloud Code, where do you launch Cloud Code? In which folder in your computer you launch it? I think that launching it in the user level is a little bit scarier. And so I have a folder called AI Operator, and inside AI Operator, I have, 01 is operations, 02 is marketing, 03 is sales, 04 is customers, 05 is assets, 06 is blah blah blah, right? And in 01 operations I have finance. In 02 marketing I have LinkedIn, I have SEO, I have different content, I have article, I have all these different folders. And in 03 sales I have the whole pipeline. I have 01 leads, 02 call 1 booked, call 2 completed, call 1 completed, call 2 scheduled, blah blah blah, right? So the whole foldering is very important because you want to, before you start that task, you want to do cd, which is the command to open and navigate to that folder. And you want to make sure that you're inside that folder that you're going to do the task, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to be like, you know what, I'm just going to do everything in the same time everywhere. And that's where I think we fail a lot. And I learned, because it can be very distractive, and focusing is going to be one of the key skills that we're going to have as humans in this new AI era. So if you can focus your tabs into, this is going to do SEO inside the SEO folder, this is going to do something in the deal pipeline, this is one is going to do a LinkedIn post, this one is going to do this customer, and the customer has a folder, right? And you don't want to start distracting everything else.
I love this. So you organize by folders. I
Yes.
I have it run in one big place, but I organize myself by focus. So what are the four most important things of
Hmm.
today? Otherwise, I get too excited and distracted.
Yeah.
But I have my four things,
Yeah.
and those are defined in a moment when I'm calm and it's not exciting. It's not in front of my monitor, and so those are four important things. And then I go to it, and one, of course, is always around sales. And so I go to it and say, okay, this is what I need to solve today, or find out today, or
Hmm.
break through today, or ship today. How would you get this started? What can you help me with?
Yeah.
Are there better ways to do this?
It's a great way, and I think that's from your book, right? Because I think this is the type of thing that you do really well. And what I did is I built a something called cockpit, and the cockpit is basically a layer on top of all these marketing, operations, sales, and all these folders. And the cockpit takes, each evening, takes what we've done, right? What's missing and what we should be working on tomorrow. And there are something called open loops. So if I started a sales thing and I didn't finish, and it's like 1 a.m., I should go to bed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm giving up for tonight. I'm going to bed. It says, great. I put it on for tomorrow on the open loops. So the next day when I open it, the cockpit goes says, okay, well, you have these open loops, and today you have these habits and these systems that you need to run. Right. On Friday you have to run your weekly review. Right. On Sunday you have to run your week preparation. Right. And every day you have to run marketing daily, sales daily, customers daily. These are different skills that I have that I run each day to make sure that I have a hand on everything in the business every day, because consistency, right, compounds.
Meanwhile, the agents have been working. They say,
Yep.
Simon, you have 180K this month planned for 7 work streams. Aren't sevens too much? Here, how I would prioritize. Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. It's so proactive. And I think if we're thinking about AGI, I think this is the first glimpse of AGI, right? Because it always makes me think of things I haven't thought of. And it always makes me a better CEO and a better business person in general, an entrepreneur, right? And it drives me forward. It's incredible because it drives me forward. But you have to also be careful because one thing happened is 1, 2 a.m. I can build this as well. I'm gonna build this. I'm gonna build this too. I'm gonna build this. And like you're unstoppable now. You're a superhuman now.
Yes.
You have superpowers. But you have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, sleep wise. And I think that's where we're struggling. And I mean, I'm kind of struggling, but I'm glad I started gym properly again. I'm going boxing now, and I take my mornings because I work for the US, but I live in south of Turkey, so which I love it because in the mornings it's my time, It's no AI. It's sauna and it's my time for like almost half the day, and then it goes crazy with AI. I think that's very important for humanity to realize that yes, we can be sucked into this productivity madness, and because I'm the most productive I've ever been in my life, and it's a great dopamine. It's like wow, I can do more. It's scary.
Yes, it will be important to say no. For example, yesterday a
Yep.
client asked me, Simon, are you using Perplexity Computer? I said, no, most of the things I'm
I said
not
no. Yeah.
even looking at. I hear they're
Yeah.
amazing, but I'm saying no to more things that I'm saying yes
Uh,
to. I never tried Perplexity Computer, nor OpenAI, nor Claudebot, and so the list of the things that that I've say no to is very long. I stay on my top 4 that are in front of me. And from there, and still it's 11 at night. And I go
yep.
like, oh my God, I want to build another 3 things. What else can I do with this thing? And as you say, it's really, you have to remind yourself, hey, wait a moment. There,
Yeah, it can be scary.
sleep enough, work out enough.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know exactly. And I think that my job is to be on top of all of this stuff. My content is to be on top of all the stuff, my YouTube and so on. But I started to start saying a little bit no as well. Like Perplexity Computer, yeah, that's one of them. I said, you know what, I'm not getting into that, because that will be a couple other nights that I'm not going to sleep, then I'm going to make YouTubes and stuff like that. And my team was like, oh, come on, you have to tackle this. I was like, no, I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm so focused on Cloud Code at the moment, and Notion AI, Notion agents, and a few other little bits and bobs around all this stuff. But you gotta learn to, yeah, lose the distraction and the shiny toy syndrome that I've had for years anyways, even before AI. And I have it in sound engineering and music production as well, which I kind of also toned down. I think you got to tone down all that shiny toy syndrome, and you got to get really good at what you have, right? So if you get really good at Cloud Code in the terminal, let's say, there's a big chance you don't need anything else, and you'll run a business of, multi-million dollars just from a terminal.
I think Cloud Code and Notion, and you can run $100 million business as a solo
Easy.
person right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now. Yeah.
Now, if somebody has a team, you say, well, but now Cloud Code is not so great for a team because, for example, those folders sometimes are local folders. Sometimes Michelle, my colleague on the Philippines, doesn't have access to those folders, even if they're on cloud, because Cloud treats them kind of locally.
You can do
Um,
GitHub repo. I also do everything is
mm,
synchronized to a GitHub repo, and my team can git pull
mm,
in the morning, especially if they're in different time zones, which is
yeah,
great because let's say you close your day, they start they git pull, you've git pushed, meaning that you've synchronized everything to GitHub. They pull and then they continue the work. I believe that OpenAI apparently, I just saw the news yesterday, they're gonna build like a competitor to GitHub. I bet you at some point Claude will have something similar. Um, I think Claude is going to have this virtual desktop. It's going to have this virtual workspace at some point. And I don't think that's going to be in a year. I think that's going to be in the next few months, because
mm,
I think everybody's having these problems of like, oh, how do we collaborate together if
yeah,
we're on Cloud Codes? But we're not doing just repositories of coding projects, but it's more business projects.
correct.
I hacked it where I have all my business projects in GitHub as well. So I have local files, GitHub, and Notion. I have in three places actually. Maybe it's a bit too much, but it gives me the confidence that I can collaborate on Notion. I can work on it myself in my local, and it's on GitHub just in case as well.
Just
And now
backup.
my team is getting a bit more, backup, and my team is getting a little bit more technical now. Especially one of
Hmm.
my team members now is on Cloud Code and he's loving it. So we're working on some repositories together now on GitHub.
Oh my God, I love this. And yes, Cloud Code changed our life because we're all
Yes,
non-native English speakers, and we have to write emails and write content, etc. So it boosted our abilities. It accelerated our learning by 10 times.
absolutely. And I think you said it, our learning and is boosting. And a lot of people see this AI thing as a replacement, or they see it as a lazy thing, right? And they'll make their whole LinkedIn post just from AI by just saying, post about blah, right? And it's like I do all my stuff with AI, and there might be some M dashes, and you could throw me in hell if you want because I have an M dash, But I say, hey, I want to do a post about this. Can you ask me 10 questions about what we did with that client, And then it's my context, it's my post. It's not AI just coming up with a post. It's my idea that we work on it together, And I think that's very important for humans to understand that yes, you should work with AI for everything that you can, but don't let the AI do the work on its own because then it's AI slop, right? But if it does it with you, that's not AI slop because you're putting your context, right? And if your context is crap, I'm sorry, but that's you have to solve that. But if you have good context, AI is here to really help you take that out, amplify it, make sense of it, and actually make you think harder and learn faster.
So how to unslop it? What we've done is
Hmm.
one thing was create a Claude MD that explains how you talk. And in that you can say no M dashes. I use
Hmm.
parentheses instead. I use these kind of
Yeah,
emojis instead of these others. I,
yeah,
I, I don't say hey team, I say team, for example. So you
yeah,
can really customize it. The other
yeah.
one is giving it context. If you give out access to your
Context.
emails,
Yeah,
it knows how you write.
yeah.
What else can we do to unslopify it?
I think it's all about context. Even the M dash thing and so on, I don't mind that much. Yeah, we do have in certain blogs and articles where like don't use M dashes and stuff like that. But like the people who are hunting for an M dash and be like, oh, that's AI wrote that post. It's like, don't you have anything better to do in life? The people that has been asking AI, should I take my car to the car wash or should I walk because it's very close? And it's like, don't you have anything else to do with AI? It's like sad. It's absolutely sad trying to trick AI. AI is nothing without you. And don't try to show that it's nothing without you. We know it. I know it. That's why it's very important to realize that you work together, right?
Yeah.
And it is something that augments you. And it needs your context. So you got to work on files. You gotta work on markdown files. You gotta have a lot of folders and files about what you do, your service, how you did it, the meetings you have, right? The more you do that, the better it gets at the end of the day. Um, and I think that we're going back to the times of before a little bit of the lean and agile and where it was more like, document things and make sure you have processes and SOPs, standard operating procedures. And luckily, before we hated documentation because it took us time. You had to sit down and you had to write on a Google Doc and it took you time. Today, I can say, let's write a SOP for this task. Ask me all the questions, or I just open the dictation, and I talk for 30 minutes, and then boom, the SOP is exactly the SOP that I would want to write, and that took me a day or two, you know.
And it's
So I
saved
think
in
that,
Notion, your team has
yeah,
access, and you will
yeah,
find it again
yeah.
when you need it.
Absolutely, and Notion AI is incredible at that. On top of it, so when you say when I can't find something or I don't know, I'm like, oh hey Notion AI, we had this about this client, you know, I was and you're like, oh shit, like that took me hours to prep like that, right? Oh, and here are the past meetings. This is what you should ask. These are the projects that you're not, tracking really well, and your team member finished these tasks, so you can report on. I'm like, wow, my team member has a agent that does the weekly report to our clients.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because every task and every project and every meeting notes is on Notion. It just goes, the agent goes every Friday and says, okay, this for this, we did this, this is where we're struggling yet, and this is what we're gonna do next week. He just looks at the email and then bam, he just clicks send. Right? That report that took you back in the day, what, 3 hours? 2 to 3 hours?
Another change in lifestyle for me has been, usually I had like 7 apps to switch back and forth from the calendar to the email to Notion to Slack.
Mm.
And now I just open up Claude, and
Yeah,
that's my one interface.
it's
And I
crazy. Yeah.
talk to it, and it does the rest in the background. So I think of
Yep.
Claude is my brain right now. And then it has hands, Granola, Gmail, calendar. It has feet,
Yep.
Notion, and Obsidian, etc. But I think the brain right now is Claude, and that it
Yep.
changes how. When my kids come in here, it looks different how I work. I
Yeah,
talk to my
absolutely.
computer, and my computer does stuff.
Yep.
How how will it be in 5 years?
Well, I'm not sure about 5 years because things that we thought a year ago that would happen in 5 years, it happened in a year. Like, we didn't think that we would have such agentic things that are a glimpse of AGI in March 2026 that quickly. We're aiming for 2027, 2028, and now it's like, wow, it's here already. It's like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen next? It's just that I think humans are gonna take a long time to adopt to things, but I believe that, and I
Mhm.
always say this, this keyboard that I have and this desk that I have, and I slouch and I sit here and I type. Luckily, I have a standing desk. I can stand and stuff like that. But I think that we were not designed to do this, and we got forced into this. So I believe that conversational stuff, this is why it's picking up a big time, because we can think so fast and we can speak our thoughts, but we can't really type our thoughts that fast. And you make a grammar error, you go back, you're losing your thoughts. That happens a lot. So I believe that it is definitely conversational, and it's a voice. I think there's going to be a lot of voice. I dream of this very close future, I believe by the end of the year or half next year, where I have the new Apple AR glasses. So I have that here, and I have screens wherever I want, and I just talk to that thing, and I'm like, I'm in a Greek island on holiday. On holiday, right? It's because I think it's going to be quite interesting how we work and live. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have a client call, guys. Boom! I just put the glasses. I have all my screens. I have the client in front of me, and I do the call, and then the call finishes, and I tell the agent, I'm like, okay, so you heard on that call, we need to prep that thing, and can you let my team know about those things? All right, ping me when you need me. Boom, and I close it. And I put back those glasses, and I'm having fun with my family, and or hey, ping ping, something is like, I need you, Tim. I'm like, okay, great, let's do that. And then maybe you have some cutoff times where it doesn't ping you anymore, but it works and it pings another of your team members, maybe. I think that I'm super excited about that future where we will still work, but we're going to work on the high cognitive, on the important human things, which is human interaction, strategizing, and not doing any of the admin of the email responding, the sending the proposals, updating the pipeline, and managing a team. No, I think all of that is going to be done by AI, and we're just going to show up to do the best work that humans were designed to do, which is high cognitive problem solving and not low cognitive, repetitive, and boring work.
And also being in a room, I find so unnatural. So every summer we are 5 weeks on the Mediterranean, near
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
near you,
yeah.
and this is actually what I find a natural lifestyle.
Hmm.
because I am Mediterranean, maybe, or maybe because it's human nature. But I hope that this summer already or next summer, my work will be less sitting in this room and more
Absolutely.
walking in parks, in nature, with some sun and some movement, and
Yeah.
talking to my phone probably.
Yeah.
And there will be some form of Claude on the phone talking back.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do this already, and so I changed how I brainstorm and so on. Like, I try not to brainstorm in front of my screen anymore. Actually, I don't use the word try because when you say you try, you accept the failure. But what I do is, if I have a great idea, let's say after our podcast, and I'm like, you know what, I just go for a walk, just a 10-minute walk, and I'll have all my AirPods, or I had a Cloud meeting note taker hardware, and I just talk to myself, and if somebody sees you, they're like, oh, he's one of the crazy ones. But at least I put everything out, and then I come to my desk. That's going to be already transcripted, and maybe has a template that already did and went to Notion and did something and so
Where
on,
did
right?
you put
So
it?
I'm
So where did you talk it to?
well, yeah, so I have this Cloud meeting note, which is a
Hmm.
necklace.
Mm.
They have some different devices where this is like you can put it in the back of your phone, like you can just attach it
Hmm.
like this. You can click
Hmm.
on it and talk to it. You can do that now with Granola on your phone as well, of course,
Hmm.
right? And Granola now has MCP, and Granola has now
Mm.
Zapier connections and stuff, web hooks, whatever. So you just have to find what's natural for you. If it's the necklace or whatever, and you talk to these things, and then you build a pipeline behind it where it's like, okay, if new idea put into Granola, it goes here. I have a couple of prompts, maybe it makes sense of it, and then it puts it on Notion as a project because I talked about our next marketing project, or I talked about a client update. And then it goes, oh, I need to take the client update template and then take Tim's notes and his ramblings and put them to clean it up, put it together with the template, and then send it to my teammate so that he kind of sends it to the client, or maybe it sends it directly to the client, which I still have lots of control. I'm not letting the AIs run crazy wild yet on certain tasks, but there are tasks that I let them run wild as well.
Where do you do project management? Where do you put your tasks on your
Notion,
project?
Notion, everything is Notion. I think that about 90% of our work is Notion, and 10% is just Slack communication, and then the rest, I'm really reducing everything else, and I'm deleting stuff. And I think in the past, I don't know, a couple months, I removed so many tools that we were using, and I'm like, okay, can Notion do it? Then we do it in Notion.
We have the simplest Kanban board in Notion. It's just called Sprint
Mm-hmm.
Dashboard. It has
Yeah.
3 columns: later,
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
completed. And in,
Done.
in
Mm.
now, depending on which name it is, we have a color. I have yellow if it's mine, so it colors
Yeah.
itself so that you see immediately, okay, this is what I'm working on, and this is what the others are working on.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can have a Notion AI agent there. If you change a property, if you put a note, or if a new task comes in, it looks if there is missing work, if it should be delegated to somebody else, if somebody already did it, or it can ping somebody else, right? Or it can kind of go do some of that work and bring you the draft, right? And I think that we're going to see more and more of this because Notion agents now has also scripts, right? So it can go and potentially go to the Google Search Console, bring those numbers automatically, and the task is done, right? And then when you connect it to the different MCPs, we're gonna start seeing you put the task and the task gets done, right? And it's not a human that did it.
This is so good. Uh, the excitement is clear. What gives
Yep.
you hope, Tim?
Oh, that was yesterday. I was at a great podcast with some old clients of mine. Old, I mean, a couple of years ago, they were clients, and it was such an honest conversation, and it just reminds me that, and that's why I'm smiling. What gives me hope is that hopefully AI is going to help us be more human, right? And that we're not going to get sucked into this digital world and just become, bland and robotic. But I think what's going to happen is going to remove all the boring, repetitive, or at least reduce it for now, and then at some point remove it, and we're going to be more human. We're going to have time for better connection because we're not going to think about, oh, I need to run in a meeting or I need to answer that email. Oh, I need to do that. No, I don't have to do that. That's all done. I just have to show up and just have a great time with you. And I know that the podcast is going to go and publish itself and it's going to do the thing and it's going to do that and it's going to ping Tim with the recording and and it's going to do all the posts done and you just show up to do great podcasts, right? So I believe that this is the hope that I have is that it's going to really help us find the things that humans are great at and amplify what we're great at because we're not great at reporting and spreadsheets. I know some people like them, but it's like I don't think we were designed to do these things. AI can do them potentially even better than us, and we're seeing that with programming already. So that's my hope. Is my hope that it really amplifies us, and that we have a great collaboration between human and AI.
I subscribed to your newsletter today and am enjoying it already. Where can people find your newsletter? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I think if you write Tim Cakir anywhere, Tim space Cakir, LinkedIn. I post quite often on LinkedIn. My newsletter is there, or it's weekly.aioperator.com. My business is aioperator.com. This is my business today, dealing with AI for better work. I have some other ideas very soon for AI for better learning, AI for better health, AI for better design, and other things coming. But right now, the focus is on AI for better work because I think that needs to be tackled. And please do follow me on YouTube. I do my best to share everything I try, that I fail, and that I like, and that works, doesn't work.
And it's funny, I didn't find you on X. Are you even on X?
I am not. I am on X, but I'm not active. I used to be active a few years ago. Um, Yeah, I'm taking it's funny. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, there's great conversation, but also it's very political. It's very, it's like, I kind of chose the path of not being on X actively at the moment. And I don't know, sometimes the other day I said to myself, I said, I should be on X. And I'm like, no, Tim, distraction, distraction, distraction. And I am kind of choosing some of the leaders that I don't want to say back because there are none in the AI space that now I feel confident about. I don't think any of them are thinking about the good of humans and is more about money. But some are very obvious that they're not thinking of the good of humans and so on. So I kind of choose where do I hang out.
Yeah. And it's funny because everything I learn about Claude and AI, I
Hmm.
learn actually from X people.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so where do you exchange your ideas with others
I
about
do, I
AI?
do, I do check X. I do check X. I don't, and I think I had an automation where if I do a short clip for Instagram or whatever, it also goes to X, by the way. But I'm not active on spending time there posting or interacting with people. But I have a few people, like the creators of Cloud Code and so on, that I will open up and see if they tweeted about, the last feature that they're enabling and stuff like that. But also, I'm a little bit crazy about it. Like these things, I follow the Cloud Code changelog on GitHub.
Mm.
Every day I'll open the changelog, and I look at what they're changing the code and what they released and what's they fixed and what's a new feature. So I do that, and my team makes fun of me because they're like, "Your news is the changelog." So I'm like, "Yeah,"
That's
and I
gold.
enjoy that.
That's
Yeah,
gold because you learn what they are thinking and why they are
yeah.
designing things, right?
Yeah. And also Reddit. I like Reddit. Reddit has good conversations. It can also be a little bit like XC sometimes, and everybody's making fun of some AI tools and stuff like that. So I think that it's more a little dose of everything, but very focusing on the actual tech and what the tech can do. And my biggest thing is practicing. It's practice, 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 practice. If they have a new feature and I see it in the change log, I'm like, oh, what is that? What does it do? Let me try it now, right? And I think that's more important than just reading about people talking about that feature.
I love this. I will create an automation that tells me what happened today in the changelog like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah. I do that. What I do is I have the changelog goes into a Cloud Code, and then we talk about how can it work for my system. And because my everything is in AR operator folder and .cloud folder in my computer, it reads it and it says, oh, this, you have a better system already that does that, but oh, that would help us a ton. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, can we build that in, right? And then we build it together.
Love this. Thank you so much, Tim, for being on the show, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. Please come back soon.
Grazie mille. Thank you so much for having me.